couple weeks ago we made sourdough bread, and if you did that successfully and you're suddenly saying to yourself, how can I make this harder? Well, I have the perfect solution for you. We've got Hokkaido Milk Bread, or Japanese milk bread, but we're gonna do it with a sourdough starter. So, do you have a couple days? Because if you do, let's get started. This recipe is not my own. It comes from the excellent guidance of a YouTube channel called Sour Lottie. So Sourlotti. This recipe is 3 years old, this video. And the reason why I chose it is because it keeps it sane. Because not only are we going to make sourdough loaves, I have a birthday coming up on Sunday, and we're cooking here hamburgers. So I'm going to make hamburger buns too. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm going to show where we are going to get started. We're going to make double batches, 2 double batches. So what you're going to do is turn on your scale, which always loves, okay, and make sure it's set to grams, okay? And in her recipe, in her recipe, she does the recipe for just 1 loaf. We're gonna quadruple that. So this is very confusing already, I can tell. But we're gonna make 2 batches here and 2 batches here, and then the next process is called a sweet stiff levain bread starter. So we're going to wake up our sourdough yeast in the first process, and then we're going to create a starter, a levain starter, to make the sourdough rise, the loaves. Okay, so this is the first part of the sourdough rise, and this will be the second. We're going to start here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 30 grams of active sourdough yeast. Oh, that's a little bit too much. Take some of that out. Enough. And then 30 grams of organic unbleached flour. I like this Kirkland brand. They call for bread flour, but it's never affected the quality for me. So we're making, whether it's all-purpose or bread flour. 30 grams here. Pretty close. And then 30 grams of water. And when it hits 61, we'll just okay, so there's that. Let's do it again, because I'm sure that was confusing. I'm going to zero this out. Zero it out again. And then 30 grams of sourdough starter. Close enough. $30 grams of flour. So that's going to be, I didn't zero it out, so it's going to be around 60. 62. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to zero that out. Put about, there we go. So now you're going to mix these up, and you're going to let them proof to for 4 to 5 hours. And she says that along the process, right, you can add more flour or more starter as you go just to make sure it's extra active and fluffy. So I'm going to stir this. Go. Stir this. Just like my last video on sourdough, I'm gonna semi-cover these and put them in the microwave with a warm bowl of water. So here I have 460 grams of flour. And then here I've got 1 whole egg and just over 190 grams of milk. Just over, because my flour is getting kind of dry. So I'm mixing the egg into the milk. Now before I do that, I have the levain, the sweet, what's she called this stuff? Sweet stiff levain build. And as you can see, it came up right to where I wanted it to yesterday. And so it's all spongy and nice. We're going to use all that in just a minute too. But what we're going to do first is put 60 grams of sugar in. I'm going to zero that out. This bread is really going to remind you of Hawaiian bread. If you ever had that before. Okay, just a little more. It's just shy of 4 teaspoons of sugar, it looks like. And then 8 grams of salt. It's just regular old sea salt. Zero that out. Okay. Looks like it was like a teaspoon and a half. So I'm going to move this over to my dough hook and my KitchenAid. I'm going to mix this up first. Get the dry ingredients well acquainted. Then it calls for you to add all of this levain. So there's no measuring it. Just put it all in. There we go, look at that. Okay, make sure you get it all in. That way it'll get nice and fluffy. I'm going to go ahead and add the wet ingredients too. As you can see, you might need more water. It's not quite coming together yet. It really all depends on, how dry your flour is coming out of the bag. You can see it's really enough. There we go. I'm going to add just a touch more water. Never hurts to rinse out your bowl, you know. Don't waste anything. Oops. Can go. And to be honest, I'd rather have my dough on the too wet side than the too dry side. If it's slightly too wet, it'll raise better and have a better texture. Okay, I'm gonna knead this for about 5 minutes. All right, so we mixed all these. It wasn't quite 5 minutes. We're supposed to mix it till it's well combined. This does look a little on the wet side, and I'll correct that in a minute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add 50 grams of butter. I have that about here. This is softened. It's crucial to have it softened, otherwise it won't incorporate. So what I'm going to do is start this again. Pretty on low. There's, about, it's about 25 grams of butter right there. I'm going to mix that till it's pretty well incorporated, but I'm not going to wait. And because I don't really like this consistency, it's supposed to be slightly tighter, I'm going to add a little bit of flour, just a little bit. The air is a little moist today, so this is what we're left at. You want to knead this until it comes away from the side of the bowl and it passes what's called the window pane test. And we'll show you what that means in a minute. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I'm going to show you the window pane test. Hopefully we pass. What that means is you got to pull the gluten strands apart so you can, I don't have a lot of, oh, see, it's not quite ready yet. We still have some kneading to do because as you can see, the gluten strands are falling apart. So I have not hydrated this dough enough and we haven't built enough gluten. So we're going back to the drawing boards. Okay, so here we are. It looks really good. As you can see, it's all fluffy and almost every piece of flour is pulled away from the edge of the board. I'll tell you, my little KitchenAid's all overheated, so I hope for sure this is going to pass. Here we go. Looks so good. Oh, looks really good. Coming right off the hook. No scraps.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yep. The gluten structure is there. I mean, it's got a little bit of issue, but I'm taking this because, yeah, I'm in. Alrighty, so we're gonna put a little flour on my board here, and then we're gonna dump this beautifulness out. Still a little bit sticky, but I'll take it. I'm gonna knead this a little bit. Get some flour on it. Oh shoot, maybe that's too much. Stick into the. You basically want to knead it a little bit more till it stops sticking to itself. To anything. It can stick to itself, but. see if it bounces back. Yep, okay, so it's pretty much ready to go. So I'm gonna grease this with a little bit of butter and then put it back in here. Now you have two choices at this point. I'm not ready to bake this bread till this evening, so I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator and then take it out about an hour or two before I'm ready to bake it. And that's because it's supposed to proof for about an hour, hour and a half before you shape it, right? And so it's just enough to get the rise back on and to relax it. But I'm not ready for that, so I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator to retard the action just slightly. So if you are ready to form your loaves, skip the step we're about to do. It's going to take about an hour and a half for it to proof again, and then it's ready to shape. So I'm going to leave y'all and put this in the refrigerator, and we'll be back to shape the loaves. Good morning. I think it's been a couple days since this bread has risen. I've put it in the refrigerator, and I couldn't get to it yesterday evening, so I let it stay basically one whole day in the refrigerator, and I'll show you the condition of our dough. It has not overproofed. It's absolutely perfect. If I stick a finger in the middle, it'll stay, kind of there.
That's what you're looking for? Why?
Yep, yeah, because it's got to be completely relaxed and proofed.
Okay.
So what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to make a loaf of Hokkaido milk bread. And what you're going to need, I just like to do this. It's easier to get it out of the pan. It's foolproof. I'm going to proof these loaves in 2 loaf pans. As I said before, I keep saying it, I doubled this recipe. And so I'm going to make 2 loaves of Hokkaido milk bread. So what we're going to do now is take this out. Comes right out. Get a little flour. We're not going to need a lot of flour. This is just insurance. And I'll leave some here for the bench. Okay, so let's get our feet together here. Okay. So I'm going to divide this loaf into 2 portions. And then this is where the bread is kind of special. Then I'm going to divide this half into 3. I'll do 3 or 4, but I'm going to do 3. Actually, maybe, okay. Here we go. This side is a little bit too big, so I'm going to add that to that. They all feel kind of roughly the same weight. This could probably take a little more off. So as you can see, just gauge them, hold them, and they should all feel kind of comparatively the same weight. Then what you're going to do is make a ball out of this. I'm doing this to just basically get the bottom seam kind of all uniform, pulling the dough against itself, sort of, see, like that. Okay, and it looks pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good on the bottom. That doesn't really matter, because what you're fixing to do is roll this out into a rectangular shape. Doesn't appear to want to cooperate. No surprise there. There we go. There we go. See what we're doing here? Just kind of doing this. And then I'm gonna kind of square it up a little bit so it looks like it's gonna fit together in that pan right there. And then you roll it to its own individual little loaf. And then you can pinch these edges together. Make sure they stay together. Like that. More or less. Like that. Mm-hmm. And then you just tuck them in there. Roll it up.
What would happen if you didn't pinch it close?
The rolls won't look like that when you're finished baking it, and that's kind of like a signature. And the Japanese obviously are much more precise about this. It's well worth the effort. Yeah, I should have done 4, looks like, but I'll let this proof in a warm spot till it all kind of comes together. Let's do this one more time. This time I think I'll do 4. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to cover this with a pretty damp, I mean almost wet paper towel. And it's going to sit there till it proofs probably, I don't want to say double in size, but close to it. I'll show you when it's proofed. I'll just sit here. I don't know where the warmest place in the kitchen is, but I'm fixing to run the dishwasher, and usually it gets pretty warm over here. So there we go. Now I'm gonna make the hamburger bun portion of this dough. So like I said, I made 2 loaves of bread, and I'm gonna attempt to make about a dozen or so hamburger buns out of this same dough. Okay, so last time I didn't weigh my portions, but this time I am. I'm gonna try to get each hamburger bun about 80 to 85 grams. So I'm gonna take a piece of dough off. That's 65, so I gotta get a little more. There you go. So that's 83. That's right on the money. There you go again. Now what we're gonna do is lightly grease this parchment paper. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna have to prepare another pan because you kind of want these spaced as far apart as possible when you proof them. But that being said, let me go ahead and show you how to roll a hamburger bun. Looks just like what happened with the Hokkaido Milk Bread. You know, you make a ball, and if it's the right consistency, I just looked out this time. If it's the right consistency, it won't stick to the board. There you go, kind of like that. It's a tight little ball. It's got a little, there. You just put her right there. Again. Okay, Weissman sort of does this number here. I don't think it's really necessary, especially if you have the right consistency. He pulls the edges inside and then rolls it like this. So we'll just do it that way, just in case my lazy way isn't working out. There we go. So here's the process again. Pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in. Starting to proof, you see the bubbles forming. Mm-hmm. And then like this.
When you're pulling in, you make sure you're getting like all the sides?
Yeah.
Like everything?
Yeah, yeah. It also helps with the gluten structure if you do it that way. It's not perfect, but you see it's all together.
Yeah.
There you go. I'd say that's about 1.5 inches apart. And then it's 1.5 inches from the sides. Maybe 1 inch. You might have also seen people making like burger molds. So we could have added crafts to this prolonged saga, but I'm not going to do that to you. But I did make a couple. All I did was take some foil and fold it in on itself to make a ring. They also sell baking rings. Just for the sake of argument, I'll just show you. I think these aren't going to fill the whole thing, but we'll try. So I'm going to spray the inside of that, pop that in there like that. And then what it should do is bake. We're going to actually bake this in this thing here, if I commit, which I might not. There you go. Okay, so now I want to show you Can you feel how wet this is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's wet.
It's wet.
It's damp. It's not dripping, but it's wet.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's,
so
yeah, it's just not.
so
not the drip,
you're gonna
but it's wet. Yeah.
cover comme ça like this, and then put it in a warm
Comme ça.
like this in French. Comme ça. Comme ça. So these will have to proof for 1 to 2 hours till they're basically close to double in size. Made a right mess of this. There you go. Towel's pretty wet.
So, what happens if you don't do this step?
They won't. They'll be really flat and tough if you don't proof them.
Huh.
We've got the bread risen. As you can see, it's doubled in size. Maybe a little hard to
really
tell.
has,
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an egg wash, enough egg wash for all the bread. But I discovered that my brushes have bitten the dust, and I forgot to get more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way and spread it on with my finger.
So what's in there? An egg, but what was
Egg
in
and
there?
egg and evaporated milk.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna make it a little thinner. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so supposed to brush this on, but I don't have a brush, so I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way.
The way the Rio people do it.
No, it's the way the people that don't remember to buy pastry brushes do it. So we're gonna bake the bread first. Both the hamburger buns and the bread loaves go in at 370 degrees. These breads have to bake for 40 minutes. So at 20 minutes, I'm gonna put the egg wash on. You can see what these look like over here. Those are the hamburger buns. So in about 20 minutes, I'll put egg wash on these and put them in the oven with the bread. And they should all come at the same time.
What's the temp you're gonna go for?
370 degrees.
Oh wow, beautiful.
And the bread's supposed to bake for 20 minutes. The bread's supposed to bake for 40 minutes, and these are supposed to bake for 16 to 20. So it'll all work out. So now it's time to glaze the hamburger buns. And Joshua Weitzman is his tutorial on this says that he hates the aesthetic of sesame seeds on a hamburger bun. So I thought I would treat us all to sesame seeds on a hamburger bun, you know? I don't have beef with Joshua. He's a great cook.
No.
I trust his recipes, but I just think it's funny.
Oh dang.
He said out loud with his mouth face.
Yeah.
I don't like the aesthetic of sesame seeds on a hamburger bun.
Well, so what does that mean? He's formally against a Big Mac?
I guess. We've seen his restaurant reviews. I don't think he's a huge fan of McDonald's.
Well, you know. We do love his recipes more than
we
others.
do. I trust them very, very much. Like, if you're looking for someone to teach you, he's got a whole new channel, I believe. I don't know the name of it, but it's dedicated strictly to recipes. And I will be looking at those for sure. I guess that's what inspired us to do this endeavor, this project, this channel or whatever. We watched so much cooking tutorials.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like time.
Yeah. And we absolutely love the person Maddie Madison, but
oh no, you're gonna drag him?
No, I am actually, yeah, because he drags himself through the ringer anyways. But following some of his recipes have not always been one way.
Yeah, no, not really. Nope. Here.
Yeah, sesame. That's not. He's a very cool person. We adore and love him.
We really love him.
But there's,
if you're looking for something to like really laugh at, watch him and Brad from Bon Appetit go noodling in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best things that's ever been put
on YouTube ever. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So you see we have 19 minutes on the timer. So I was hoping to get this in here. Yay! There you go.
Fantastic.
What's that? Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that looks great.
So it looks like these are done, but